Dean Legge coming to you here from Bryant-Denny Stadium, and just a game that Georgia was certainly very competitive in, but they're going to have to start winning these games. Need better quarterback play from Stetson. 3 turnovers is too many. But there's, I mean, like the run game seemed like it was there, and Alabama was the better team. I just think that's just all there was to it tonight. And this Georgia team is going to have to get more production from its offense. Stetson made plays, but the 3 interceptions were too much, and that wasn't the story of the game, but that was one thing that's going to get highlighted because whenever a quarterback has that many turnovers, it's going to be problematic. And then also the batted balls, one of which turned into an interception. Georgia's got to score more points. They've got to become more explosive the way that you saw with Stetson Bennett and James Cook. I know I'm repeating myself, but the run game felt like it was there. Georgia's defense is the best defense in the country and gave up 41 points tonight. So that just shows you how much it matters that your offense is good. This is a new world in college football, and you're seeing explosion from these sort of 7-on-7 type offenses like Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. Georgia's not built that way, and they're going to have to evolve in the middle of the season. Okay, so they're going to have to either get Stetson on more rollouts or him to be more patient in the pocket. The plays are there. I have to say there are guys open. Georgia's offensive line I thought played really well tonight. He had time. So did the run game was there. But they're not in Alabama's league this second. Things can change though 7 games from now. And I just have done this for too long, and I know how this goes. I remember how apocalyptic people were after Georgia lost to Auburn in 2017, how apocalyptic people were after Georgia got blown out by a pretty good South Carolina team in 2012. This is a really good team. They're not just a bunch of guys that aren't good. They're good, but they have a ways to go. And their challenge will be different than the challenge that Clemson or Alabama or Ohio State face. Now Georgia has no room for error at all. And this loss was too, not convincing to get them into the playoff. They're going to have to beat Alabama in Atlanta. I don't see anybody stopping. Do y'all see anybody getting in Alabama's way to get to Atlanta? Because I don't. I don't know if the Packers would get in their way right now. They can really score. This is an impressive team. I watched Clemson live last week. That's a coin flip game. That's not a certain Clemson's better than Alabama situation. So, let's just see what happens. And again, 3 turnovers in the second half and you don't score in the second half. This was a Georgia team that was, just a second or two from being up 10 going into the half. I just even hesitate to bring this up because I know this is going to sound so bad. The officiating has got to get better in this league. I mean, they've got to call. It's got to be, in the realm of both teams getting similar calls called, because it was this end zone where George Pickens did not get a pass interference call for something that looked extremely similar, if not identical, to what Alabama got on that end zone. And you're just going, this team is good enough. They don't need any help. And I just, that's one play, but that changed the game. And I thought, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Richard LeCount did not quite pick that ball off at the beginning of the game. And you can be nitpicky with officials, but we've seen calls cost Georgia a national championship against Alabama. So I think if Kirby didn't do it, I think he wanted to. But if you want to get nitpicky on the officials, you certainly can. I don't know that wins Georgia the game, but it was. They got to be a little better at being officials. I mean, I don't know. But Georgia's got to find more points. That's what the game is right now. They're going to smother the bulk of the teams that they play in the SEC. I mean, Florida will be their biggest challenge, but I don't. I mean, Georgia's gonna do all they can to stuff Florida's offense. It's not like Alabama's. This offensive line, that is the real deal. People are gonna have a hard time against Alabama's offensive line, and therefore their offense. And that's just all there is to it. And that's what's the real key here is their offensive line. No penalty. I don't remember if there was a hold the whole night called on either offensive line. No false starts. It was really good offensive line play, generally speaking, I think you could say. And Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Stetson Bennett. I mean, that matters a lot, too. That guy is chunking it all over the place, and he has freaky deek wide receivers that he's thrown it to. Sometimes you lose to a better team, and that's what happened tonight for Georgia. The question for them is, what can they do to win the next time they play Alabama? Because if it's not a thing already for Kirby, it's going to become a thing. And as good a job as he's done, we all have criticism to be had. He's got to beat Alabama. I mean, it's just, this was not a terminal game, but this was a game they certainly could have won this game. You're winning at the half. So it just fell apart for them. So there's a lot, they couldn't have. These are things that are developed over months leading into a season, not during a game. I mean, you look at the depth of the position at receiver for Alabama. Their offensive line was steady. Their running back was better than the group that Georgia had. I get he was a better individual than any one individual Georgia had, but the run game was there for Georgia. They just didn't do it as much as I thought they would. Maybe the specialists were a little bit better for Alabama, only because of one missed field goal for Georgia. But, I mean, things can change. But it is hard to really say, hey, this is a team that looked like it could win the national championship tonight. I mean, that's tough to really buy from me. And but it's middle October, and, you can lose seasons. You can lose seasons at the start of seasons. It's hard to win them in October, though. And the Big Ten hasn't even started playing. Let's just see what goes on here from here on out. I mean, again, Stetson's got to play better, and if he doesn't, they'll replace him. And I don't think anybody wants to see that happen, but it's just the reality of this thing. And Kirby, they got to develop quarterbacks. That includes Stetson, and that's where we're at with this thing. I don't think it's overreactive to be kind of negative right now. I mean, this is quintessential Atlanta and Georgia tonight, which is losses that you sort of could see coming. Now the Braves in Game 7, which I don't think anybody's going to pick the Braves. I picked Georgia to lose this game. I'm not going to pick them to lose again until they get to Atlanta, and then I just don't know what we'll see. Is Mac Jones going to be the quarterback at Alabama? Is he going to be hurt? There's a million things that can happen. But this is a good team. Alabama's a good team. They're better than Georgia. And I think that you have to, if you're Georgia over these next 8 weeks or whatever it is, you've got to get yourself ready to maneuver the rest of the year. Kentucky's going to be real tough because they're physical. They're tough to deal with, but they don't have the skill. And Georgia should win that game. Then you've got immediately Florida. And, that's a do or die game. They're going to have to win that game or you don't win the East and the season's over. Everyone after that, I mean, I can't remember who it is, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State. These are not teams that Georgia should lose to, nor are they teams I think Georgia will. So we've seen them be tested. We've seen that Stetson can get them to a particular point. He's going to have to play better for them to win the conference championship, that's for sure. Dean Legge from Dog Post, making you a smarter Georgia fan. Thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you over on the website.